Aloha! And I want to welcome everyone here to who's live. We have a great audience live today, and we're also restreaming. And I just want to welcome everybody who is listening and all the people listening to the replay, that we are a live broadcast. And this is a dose of positivity, where I have the great privilege and the honor to interview change makers, social and environmental innovators, solutionists, all who are putting social and environmental justice in the forefront of their endeavors. And we've had great health professionals on, and I'm just super excited about today and the topic. Our guest speaker is over the top, Teresa de Grosbois, and if I said your name wrong, I'm sorry, Teresa, we'll get it right. But we're going to be talking about taking your life and your business to the next level. And everybody I know who's on here, who I know is on here, is excited to be here to hear what you have to say, Teresa. And while we are waiting for people, more people to come in the house, I'm going to be reading a short little piece from my book that ties in beautifully to our topic and will warm us up for what's to come. So hello everybody, come on in, sit yourself down, get yourself something to drink, relax, sit back and listen for a minute. Calm, center yourself, sending you so much love. I'm starting out in a little reading from Conscious Cures, Solutions to 21st Century Pandemics, with a quote that I think I'm going to have on my tombstone. Since the Ice Age, nothing has changed the world faster than business. Ethical businesses led by morally courageous people can rapidly transform our world for the better. Unquote. While conscious capitalism that focuses on sustainable innovation is rising, it is not enough. It's up to you and to me to demand better and to create regenerative innovations that don't rely on consumption driven by the polluting fossil fuel economy, filling our lungs with contaminants and our minds with greed. We need not depend on unethical corporations dumping their agendas on us while filling our landfills and sickening our economy. I could go on about the corrupt economy, but you can read that for yourself. You can hear it all day long on the media, anywhere you turn. Instead, you, me, all of us focusing on solutions, on what we can do. And in this book, I look at the 6 global pandemics responsible for the health pandemic, and one of them being the economic pandemic. And at the end, after I kind of look at what's going on in the world, I come up with these solutions, S-O-U-L, solutions. And I'm just going to read one of them from the economic pandemic. Education as a solution. Educate and retool systems to align with ecology and wellness. The excellent news is that we can turn filthy systems into clean ones. Research is advancing and technology is available for sophisticated regenerative agriculture, clean energy, effective transport systems, and conservation and preservation. Retooling systems to align with ecology and good health will create millions of jobs and stimulate ethical entrepreneurship. In addition to rebuilding the antiquated infrastructures, we desperately need more holistic practitioners and mental health professionals to help in these trying times. With ingenuity in every sector of our economy, we can rebuild, regenerate communities based on necessities that bring us joy and good health. Yes, positivity. And I want to welcome everybody who just came into the room. Thank you so much. And I'm about to, I just want to, I'm so honored when I read from my books, right? And, you would think I would read from this one, Living Like the Future Matters, The Evolution of a Soul to Soul Entrepreneur. But this is kind of much more appropriate what I'm reading to go on with the topic with my special guest, Teresa de Grosbois. Teresa, say your name out loud and wave to everybody so they can see who you are. And if everybody knows who listens to me, I am dyslexic and I have a hard time sometimes with pronouncing
No,
beautiful.
everyone has a hard time with my name. I was in grade 3 before I could pronounce it. It's pronounced the French way. It's de Grosbois. So
Oh, I
I know.
love it. I love
So
it. Thank you.
tough
That
one.
makes me feel much more comfortable, honey. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't sweat it if people say it wrong.
Cool. I'm just going to go by Teresa.
That works.
Okay. Well, Teresa is a #1 international best-selling author of mass influence and the founder and the chair of the Evolutionary Business Council, known as also the EBC. Teresa has mass influence over this organization that she created that we will get into as we go further, but she's the founder and the chair of the EBC. Teresa works with people around the world, including me, wanting to create grassroots change in communities and businesses. Teresa is also a 4-time best-selling author, and she believes that we can shift the thinking of society just by understanding how to balance the force of money and influence to create more impact in the world. Gives me goosebumps. And we'll have Teresa's link in the chat there, and it's all over the place already. But Teresa, I just want to thank you for carving your time out in the day. Teresa's tuning in from Costa Rica, and I'm here in Hawaii. Go figure. And we got people from Alaska, and Montana, and all over the world on right now, Teresa. But before we get started in these heartfelt questions, I just love for you to give. I've known you for a while now, at least a year, a little background of who you are and where you came from and what built your morals to get you where you are today.
Wow, what a beautiful question. I think what first had me get passionate about influence was because I grew up in an environment where I had none and nothing. I'm not only Canadian, I'm from Northern Canada. I grew up in the Canadian equivalent of the backwoods. And in fact, I used to spend my summers as a child in a remote backwoods cabin. We'd have to go in by boat every year, just in time to see the little baby mosquitoes hatch. That's Northern Canadian humor. And, so in that environment, my family was my whole world, and so as the youngest of this really big family in this very remote situation, I really started noticing, like, what has people get listened to? What has someone be seen as important in this environment? So at a very young age, that sort of sowed the seeds of me wanting to understand better what has people get listened to and what has people able to make an impact in a conversation. Because I really started to notice early on, it has nothing to do with your age or your pecking order. It's a little bit to do with that, but not everything to do with that. Mm-hmm. And so that had me fascinated about this topic. And, my career flowed forth from there, really.
Well, little girl from Canada, now landed in Costa Rica following your dreams. And I know, Teresa, you've been described as someone who teaches thought leaders and emerging thought leaders to have greater impact in the world. And, when we think of the word thought leaders, because I use it too, when I describe who our audience is, it sounds so big and grandiose, but really, I would love to have a conversation for our listeners and people. Most of the people who are on live, I know, and Karina's in the house too, which is so great. Another person for you're going to want to connect with. But what does it really mean at the grassroots level for people who are just in the quandary, on the fence, or starting out and don't know where to land with this Beautiful word, thought
Yeah,
leader.
well, it is a grandiose term, right? So a lot of people have trouble self-identifying with it because it feels too arrogant to think about, oh, I couldn't possibly be thought leadership. But when you think about it, anytime you're pushing out new ideas, new ways of thinking, new ways of living, like I so want to learn about Global Food Collaborative. Oh my God. like, I'm like, just the name has me curious.
Right?
But when you're pushing out new ideas and new ways of being or thinking or living or new ideas on health, then you really are in the realm of thought leadership, right?
Mhm.
And that's actually a really cool place to be, because that's sort of the cutting edge of the evolution of humanity.
Right.
I actually believe we're living in one of the most significant times in history that humanity will ever see, because en masse, humanity is starting to wake up to this notion of consciousness, that we can choose how we think and we can choose which thoughts we give energy to, and we can actually take control of our lives, not let life live us, but we live life. And all of those concepts, although they've been around for some times, they're starting to be adopted en masse by humanity, right? I actually think in history we're going to look back on this time as the Great Awakening. And it's the everyday coaches, the small businesses that are teaching empowerment, the people who are doing podcasts out there, like a dose of positivity, just pushing out a better way to think, a better way to be during your day. Anything that boosts us up into that, noticing how we think, noticing I fall into the trap as much as the next human being of, falling into negativity or worry or, oh my God, this pandemic, will it ever be over? And I mean the economic pandemic more than the health one, you know. Um, it's just so important to be part of that cutting edge that's changing the way we all operate as human beings.
I just love what you just said there. And actually, one of our guests, Stella Vera, who's a TM teacher, she and I were talking, and, we were just talking about the power of this consciousness. And she was part of a group of these peace warriors and the women, 350 of them, that used to go to areas and just levitate and meditate and pray for peace. And it's that energy. We're all connected by this great force, this great energy. And we have the ability and the responsibility to make a difference with our own personal lives, because it's your business what you do with your life. And I think, like you say, showing up for things like this, showing up for things like what you created at the EBC, really, and many of the people who are on the call right now, who are doing phenomenal work. And we're here, being here for all of us to keep ourselves accountable and keep us going. But let's dive into these three pillars that you talk about. I would love you to go into each pillar individually, describe them, and see if anybody who is in listening right now has any questions or any input you want to put into these three pillars. That would be most appreciated.
Yeah. When we first started the Evolutionary Business Council, we were all about the influence, right? Like influence is my superpower, right? We all have certain things we're really good at. Influence happens to be one of mine. And, when we first set it up, it was sort of like this whole concept of what if we just took all the everyday heroes, you brought them together to really support and help each other? What could that create, right? And what kind of influence could we generate? What kind of reach could we generate? It was just this inquiry and this great experiment, right? So I decided, well, let me just take what would traditionally be a marketing funnel, but pretend that influence was money, and build a marketing funnel to draw the influence all together into a community of people who would support each other. And it works so well that, within a few years, the Evolutionary Business Council, the members had a collective reach of first $250 million, and then approaching 400 million. And then, we then surpassed $500 million in collective reach. But it worked so well, it almost collapsed the rest of my business. And it was sort of like putting a Lamborghini engine in a Volkswagen and the car blew up. It was kind of like that, it's like, whoa, I guess influence alone, not so sustainable. And then that really had me pause and step back and think, okay, wait a second, yes, that works great in terms of the power that influence has. But when you try and have influence in isolation of money, sooner or later you run out of gas,
Yeah.
And similarly, I was seeing all these business owners that were like, money was their superpower, you know, like they're really good at generating money, but they don't understand this game of influence. Like they don't understand how to get the two play together. So they often end up buying their influence, you know, paid advertising or, you know, affiliate marketing strategies, which is a form of paid influence, you know. And so they were having trouble getting the two to play together nicely. And you know, a group of us sat down, we really started thinking about it. We started realizing when you get influence and profit to play together powerfully, it's sort of like having the engine and then the really powerful drivetrain on the car. Then you really go somewhere. Then you have impact, you know. And so we decided in that conversation to rebrand the EBC around all three pillars, because originally we were just branded around the one, just the pillar of influence. And as soon as we did, everything started to gel and work better. And you know, it was interesting trying to bring both sides of the tribes together, the ones who were superpower and profit and the ones who were superpower and influence, and get them to figure out how to play together well, you know, because they, in essence, they're sort of playing slightly different sports. But when they started to play together really well, each of them found exponential growth in their businesses. It was really phenomenal to watch. So now we've actually changed our goal to not just being about helping the everyday heroes of the world, the everyday grassroots movements become more influential. We're working to help them to become more profitable as well, so that that third pillar shows up, impact, and they're really having the kind of impact they need in the world.
Wow, that is so great. I would love for you to give some examples of how that's working, for like just a few things that you've seen for yourself, even most recently, how that the three pillars come together.
Yeah, it's well, it's interesting, you know, because when you're all about the profit, you tend to have you know, like you'll set up marketing initiatives, you might create affiliates and things like that. And not that that's inappropriate, that's very appropriate in small business, right? We set up marketing structures so that we draw people towards us, and those people eventually buy, you know, we call that a marketing funnel. But there's a magic that you start to see happens for people when they build the really deep relationships that influence is based on, right? Because one of the main principles in influence is you can't make yourself influential, right? You can only give influence to other people and they can give it back to you, right? In other words, if I went to a networking event and I stood up in a chair and said, look at me, I'm so great, I speak all over the world and blah, 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 blah. Like people would be like, how do we get this woman out of here? We can't show her the door fast enough. You know, everybody would be rolling their eyes, right? But if I stood up at that same networking event and said, guys, Donna Maltz just walking into the room. Oh my God, she's so awesome. I love her podcast and her live streams, and she's just phenomenal. And you know, I could just talk about this woman till the cows come home, right? In that moment, well, I got to be authentic about it. And that is, everything I just said is true, just so you know, you all know it because you're here, right? But B, you know, in that moment, I actually become the most influential person in the room in the act of giving influence to someone else, right? And we all kind of know this, but we don't pay enough attention to it, right?
Yeah.
That it's in that act of giving influence to other people that we become more influential. That's when people really listen to us, right?
Yeah.
And so what would it be like for your business if suddenly all kinds of influential people were suddenly talking about you? What would that be like? And that happens when you start to build those really deep connections, not the kind of connection that's based on, hey, will you do this for me? I'll pay you, right?
Yeah.
And not that that's inappropriate, but it's more like, hey, I know we're really good friends and I really need a favor right now, blah, blah, blah. Can you help me this way? By the way, as a token of my esteem, I'd like to also pay you an affiliate commission. That has a different energy to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing watching, like we have certain members of the EBC whose books hit the bestseller list before they're even in pre-launch. You know, Carrie Hummingbird was one of our latest on this, right? You know, where she put the pre-sale page of her book up, and she's so beloved in the EBC that even though she had asked a bunch of people to participate in her launch, they all started shouting it out and sending it out a week early with the pre-sale page up, because they were so excited that Carrie Hummingbird was launching her book, right? I love it when people phone me and they're like, I don't get what I'm seeing. It looks like my book's on the list, but we haven't launched yet, you know? And that's what happens when you start to think about, yeah, I have to have structures to profit. I have to have a setup that allows there to be money at the end of this game, because the money is what enables this whole structure to function. But when I start to apply the principles of influence, which are all about relationship and building deep connection with other influencers and building community and tribe around you, when you start to apply those principles intertwined with how you're doing the profit, suddenly things that would have worked okay over here go over here, and you've got exponential growth. It's really cool to watch what can happen.
You know, I'm just like so love where you're going with all this, because it is, and it's, I think women too, especially women, you know, and all of us women, most everybody on here is a businesswoman. Sandra, I know you're not, but you're the business of life and love, and you are an influencer. But you know, it is hard to ask, and I know, and Meredith or Tell, who's on over on here, I'm going to ask all of you. I just launched a book called Get Cultured, a fermentation book, and it's on sale on Amazon for 99 cents. And I'm going to ask all of you, while you're on here, you're going to click on the link and do me the honor of helping yourself get healthier by learning about what's in that book. And that's kind of like, wow. And that's where the EBC helps people and will help me in their next newsletter. It's like, how do we all help each other? Like when Karina lost her blue-green algae and we had her on the show, you know, and sometimes it's hard to ask. And I don't know, Meredith, you'll also put this blog. It's so great because whenever I have speakers on, I always kind of write about kind of what we're going to be talking about to that. And, you know, I really kind of spilled my guts in this last blog and spilled the beans, you know, like about, you know, it's not even just asking to make money, because 99 cents in a book, I'm not making money. I'm making a difference. I want people to read and be healthy. And if enough people buy it and the reviews are good, the next books would sell for $5.99. So I'm just giving you guys an example. But also on there, and we're kind of like halfway through our broadcast, and I see some comments I want to get to, but is, you know, Tell, who's been working with us for a year, her cancer reoccurred, and we have a GoFundMe program. And so I know in the economy, you know, just anything you guys want to do, and I'm donating a lot of stuff towards that. But I've been learning from Teresa and from the EBC, because I am giving and generous, and I haven't needed to make money until like kind of recently, you know, with the stock market, all these other things, right? And sometimes it's just knowing the appropriate time and having an organization, whether it's Global Food Club or whatever you're comfortable with. You know, some people are in other groups or other organizations, but to really speak up, speak from your heart. And if you have something that's going to help make the world a better place, why not spill the beans? Why not come from your gut and share? And then how can you serve other people, right? Teresa, I'd love you to talk about that. Like, I'm part of another group called the Serving Circle, which is beautiful, out of Australia. I don't know if you've heard of them, but just how we can really best serve each other, especially in the last 3 months. Things have really changed in the economy with interest rates. And here I'm asking you to buy a 99-cent book and contribute to a GoFundMe campaign. And I don't know where your finances are, right? But I know I'm here to support you. And I think that's where what the EBC does for its members and how it operates. So let's dive in, even if people aren't EBC members, how to really translate that.
Well, let's do a live example right now, Donna. Are you okay with that? How many of you want to like do a real-time live example of what influence looks like? Anybody up for that game? Okay.
Yeah.
You guys know Donna is just like an amazing giving human being, right? Like, you don't get paid for doing live streams like this, right? Isn't she amazing? Like, I would, you know, and the truth is, the cool thing about leading an organization with a collective reach of over 500 million people, I'm at the point where I can turn down interviews, right? I don't say this to be arrogant. I just want you guys to get, like, so if I don't really resonate with someone and love someone, I'm okay with saying no to go on their show, right? Because I want to play with the awesome, juicy people. I would come on Donna's show any freaking day of the week. I love what this woman's up to so much, right? That's how much I'm a fan of everything Donna Maltz teaches, right? So right now, first of all, I'm super excited to see that Donna's book's on the bestseller list already on Amazon, right? And here's the thing, she's not at #1 yet, okay? And the difference between sitting down at number 80 on the bestseller list and sitting up at #1 is sometimes just a couple dozen people shouting out the book and telling people they love the book and telling them their neighbors love it, okay? So here's the game I want to put you guys to, if you're open to it, okay? It might take us till morning, but if you guys are up to this game, we can be the tiny mighty force for Donna Maltz on this call, okay? And I will show you, is it okay if I share my screen for a minute, Donna?
Sure, sure.
I would just need you to give me sharing capability. I'm going to show you guys how you tell if a book is a bestseller, okay? Because not everybody knows this, okay? I'm going to share my screen.
Guys, I had no idea.
She doesn't know I'm doing this, okay?
No.
I'm totally surprising her with this, okay?
Me
Here's
out.
Donna's book on Amazon right now, okay? The Kindle version. And if you scroll down, you always see here's the bestseller rank, right? This is actually a really good book number because there's like 179 million books in total on Amazon. So she's in the upper, 10% of all the books on Amazon, right? I don't even know what that number is. I'm making that up, but it's huge, right? And if you're in the top number 100 books in any category, you're on the bestseller list for that category, right? So Donna's already on the bestseller list in both raw cooking and canning and preserving, right? For this new book. That's a phenomenal result for a book that's just launched, okay? But a group of small, awesome friends who are really big fans of Donna Maltz could easily push that book to #1 in one of these categories, okay? Yes. So I'm going to suggest, rather than, is it okay if they shout out your Amazon page instead of the page you just put in the link, Donna? Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
I'm doing this, by the way. That's why I'm asking. Okay. This is just me following my intuition in this moment. Okay. I've never done this on a call before, just so you know this, guys, I'm making this up as I go along. Okay. But here's Donna's Amazon link. I'm putting it in the chat. Okay. And if you guys want to have some fun, like go on your Facebook, go on your Instagram, and just say, I love Donna Maltz and everything she teaches. So excited. She has a new book out or something like that. Just post it, sing it from the rooftops. Okay. And see what her book number is by morning. Just see what happens. Pay attention, because I would be willing to bet dollars to donuts that even if this small, tight group goes and does that, I don't know how much competition are in her category, so I can't tell you what the result will be, but I bet you she's going to get her numbers bumped by morning. She might even hit #1 if we're vocal enough about it. So who wants to play just for fun? Awesome. Okay. So like, just go give it a try, because that would be like a real live example of what a group of colleagues who just love your work can do for you. And that's what comes from building deep relationships with other people who are up to creating change in the world, right? Because here's the thing, we can all have certain superpowers and be experts in something, but none of us know everything, right? Like, so when I want to know about food fermenting, or like one of my passion projects right now, I'm starting to grow food forest here in Costa Rica. Donna's one of the people I go to for advice, because none of us can know everything. This is not humanly possible, right? Mm-hmm. So I think this would be super fun. Are we taking questions? Can I think Stella Vera has a question. Is that okay, Donna?
Yeah, Jess, please.
No, that was me raising my hand, that I'm going to go do what you said.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's you raising your hand. Awesome. So you're going to play. Beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, everybody's playing. You guys, I'm like crying, like this is so
well, you deserve it, sweetheart. You are such a giver and such a contributor in our industry. We should be shouting this from the rooftops, right?
Yeah.
And actually, Donna, the Kilcher Sisters have a Kilcher Sisters fan page of 20,000 people. and it's completely aligned with like a homesteady thing, right? So I think I'm going to just see about posting it to that group, and we'll see if that has an effect.
Mhm. That's so awesome. And Karina, I'm definitely love to come on your show and talk about getting cultured. Yeah, it's so important because the book doesn't just talk about how to ferment vegetables. It talks about just culturing our mindset and diversity and biodiversity and how important all these ecosystems are, like just when it kind of encapsulates all that, Oh man, that was so like wow, we got to do more stuff like this for each other. Like, and I love launching and promoting other people's stuff. And everybody who's on here knows I ask people put it on the Facebook group. But what I'm finding right now, and Teresa, I don't know if you notice this or anybody else who's on live right now, because there's a lot of business people on, is, social media is not working like it used to, not even in a nano amount. This is the kind of collaboration, these small groups that go out to bigger groups. And it's like this, wheel effect, like the snowball, right? That just keeps going. But social media has become a trap, a dangerous place for all of us to play, and we have to pay to play. And I've been doing a lot of research and studying. Like this one woman who I work with, she put in $75,000 worth of advertising into social media to try and launch things. Got a 20% return. It doesn't even cover her expenses anymore. It used to be. So when you're part of something like the EBC or what we're doing, or other groups where you have this network and this ability to make change, and not just anything, you don't want to, it's not like the people on A Dose of Positivity are going to go out and promote a thriller, or a sex scandal. We're talking about promoting things that are going to change the world, that are going to impact people's lives in such a positive way, that it's part of this energy, like I was talking about what Stella Vera does. And it becomes so big, like the billions, when Teresa's talking about affecting billions, right? So, and Kat, who's also on the call right now, and who I can't wait to introduce you to, these connections right now on this call are great. Kat is a TEDx facilitator, and she, Sunday is, and you guys all, will put that, it's in our Facebook group, but Kat, go ahead and put that link in to, she's got TEDx Vail happening for women. It's going to be phenomenal, right? And so this is how we help each other, and this is how we grow and make an impact in the world. And Teresa, that was just really, really, really special. And actually, Meredith, before we go, I want to also do that raise the hand. I think we're going to do this, Teresa. That's a really great modality to motivate people, whether it's not always about money, but just a way to, people raise your hand, you want to play, and we go do a link to, even if it's taking a quiz to find out where the levels of your gut microbiome are. And we play right there, because that's doing something for ourselves.
Beautiful. Do you guys want the advanced game? I can give you the advanced game too. Yes. The advanced game. Okay. This is how you really go to the wall for someone. Okay.
Yeah.
After the show tonight, all of you sit down, or actually we could even do it right now, but just like sit in your chair for a moment and close your eyes and tune into your higher consciousness and just ask yourself, who really, really needs Donna's book? Who might have a podcast or a show that should be interviewing Donna right now? What are the important things that I should think about that would really help Donna get her book out there right now? And just allow some empty space in your mind and see what comes up for you. Maybe there's the face of a neighbor who's been complaining about digestion or food that might just really need Donna's book. Maybe there's a favorite podcast that you love, that you happen to know the podcast host who should absolutely be interviewing Donna right now. Maybe you've got a show or you've got a newsletter and you think, oh, I really want to shout her out in my newsletter. Whatever comes up via your higher consciousness, either do it immediately or write it down to do in the next 24 hours. And it might just be you set the intention from that space of higher consciousness that over the next 24 hours, you might start thinking about individuals or names that would be really important to help Donna with. Okay, now just take a deep breath and breathe that all in. And then just be with that intention that for the next 24 hours, you've really got Donna Maltz's back in this initiative called launching her book and getting it into the hands of people who need it. And you're welcome to play this game beyond 24 hours. You get what I'm saying? Not if you get what I'm saying. Yeah. But that's the advanced game. And then let Donna know. Just so don't let her, you're not letting her know from a place of ego or bragging. You're letting her know from a place of keep Donna understanding how loved she is and how important her contribution is to you, right? So at the end of 24 hours, you might just send Donna a quick email that says, over the last 24 hours, I thought of 15 people who needed your book. And I emailed or texted all of them the link saying, great new book, I think you might want to read. Or you might connect her with a podcast host or whatever comes up for you. But just let her know, because that'll help keep the juice in Donna's tank to keep going.
Yeah.
You get that? Like, don't you just feel great when someone connects with you and says, by the way, I just recommended your book to my neighbor. By the way, I just was bragging about your particular holistic therapy to my neighbor, and I'm going to send. Doesn't that just feel awesome when someone tells you they've done that? And doesn't that renew your faith that you're on the right path, right? And no matter how successful someone in the realm of thought leadership is, they always need other people to put gas in their tank. Always.
Yeah.
They always need that boost of courage. So let her know, okay? Just to keep her going, to keep her in belief of what she's doing matter. I'd love to take questions. Is that okay?
Yeah. I just got to open the door. Go ahead, Stella Vera.
Yeah, I'd like to just add something to what you said, and that is that, to have a more buy-in from the level of consciousness, and the last thing you just mentioned, I would suggest to amp it up by actually ordering the book, either doing it and then meanwhile ordering the book and then doing it again, but to go inside and think of, networking on the level of consciousness, really, of who might need this. It's good to know what the this is. And if a person says, oh, recommend this, but they haven't read it themselves, to have that visceral, emotional, intellectual understanding of what you are promoting is really important. I get so buzzed when I try a product in a store and I go around saying, oh my God, have you guys tried this yet? This coconut freeze-dried coconut water, by the way, is so amazing. And I go, I don't even work here, but you got to buy this. So it's really having the taste of it first before you can really authentically, from the core of your being, your body, your mind, your consciousness, advocate with energy. And so I would put a step in there maybe first, that everyone gets the book and reads it. Or you can do what you just said, but get the book and then do that experiment again, because then you are really calling it in of targeting really who needs it, even though generically you can say, I'm sure it's a great book, Donna. It looks like a good title and we like you. So of course I'm going to, recommend it. But I think to make it have the most amount of, high octane gas that you're going to put in the tank.
Yeah, beautiful. I'm assuming on this call, everybody's already got it, because these are the Donna Maltz's raving fans, right? But I appreciate you adding that point, because for those listening or watching to the record, the point I think is to not just take action, but inspired action, right? Because that's the zone, that's the miracle zone when you take inspired action. So whatever you're inspired to, especially if you're inspired to buy the book, absolutely, that should be your first step for sure. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate you presencing that. Yeah. Did you have something you want to share or ask?
Yes, thank you. Teresa, it's nice to meet you. I wanted to ask you and Donna a couple technical questions when you showed the screen on her Amazon book. Yeah. So who tags the 3 categories that she was under? Who is it? The publisher? Is it Donna? Is it Amazon? You do? Donna
It's
did?
Whoever lists the book. Yeah.
it's the publisher, and I'm self-published, so it's me. But if you were going through a traditional publisher, they would do that for you. And there are ways to gauge, to look at how to pick keywords or terms that do that. So, and I will help you with that anytime.
Well, yeah, I was just curious because, because you have so many different facets of expertise that, when I see 3, it seems so limiting to you because to me, I have not read the book yet, or gotten the book, and I'd like to interview you about the book. But, I see you as health, and then I see you as business, and I see you as all these other things. Let me ask you this, Teresa and Donna. So if we went in and we did a review, where does that help to bring up the ratings?
I love these questions. So I actually teach a course on this. I teach a course called How to Become a Best-Selling Author. And the level 1 of that course is all about writing your book and getting it published and getting it up on Amazon. So Amazon limits you to 3 categories. If you're an iconic book that's been around forever, actually a new book, they often limit to 2 categories. If you're an unknown author, they may limit you to only 2 categories. So it speaks to Donna being a multi-published author that they gave her 3 right out of the gate on a new version, right? And if you're like Dr. Seuss and you've been around forever, they might give you 3 or 4 or more categories. But it's Amazon who decides how many categories you get. So 3 is actually good. If they'll allow you to have 3, that means they have faith in you as an author. So sorry, give me your second question again. I just want to make sure.
Well, just the reviews, like if we went in there and we did a review on her books, does that help the ratings go fast?
Yeah. So Amazon's algorithm is kept secret, but for the, because I've studied it and watched how the bestseller list works, because they update their lists every hour. The bestseller ranking is a combination of most books sold in the last hour times most books sold in the last week times most books sold since the beginning of the book being listed, right? Like, so they have an algorithm that calculates based on those numbers, but the number of book reviews seems to factor in as well. So this complicated mathematical algorithm that they use to track your rank, it doesn't seem to change after about somewhere between 50 and 100 book reviews. In other words, the first 50 5-star book reviews seem to have the most positive effect on your book ranking. And then beyond that, they're kind of limited in how much it seems to help to get additional book reviews. But if you can get to that magic number of about 50 5-star reviews, that does seem to help your book ranking quite a bit. So that's also a really nice thing to do. If you guys really want to go to the wall for Donna, go in and after you've read the book and feel like you're ready to rave about it, I'm assuming a lot of you have already read it, go in and also give her a 5-star review on Amazon. That would be brilliant.
Thank you. I just want to say that just my last comment is, I think Teresa coined it, so she may get the credit for that, and I'm not sure if Kevin might have to write it, but I think it should be called Donna's Juice, your next book, because you just endlessly keep going, and all of us want to know how you do that, Donna. So Donna's Juice would be one of your next books, please.
That's a great book title.
You are so cute. One thing too, I thank you so much for that dialogue. That was really great. But the thing is if you go to all I've got 5 books now up on Amazon, and each one of the books has they're different categories. So you would change your categories. It's not categorized as an author, but what the book is specified about. So Robin, that's why it's under raw foods or whatever, because that's what that book is about. And I want to also share something, because I know a lot of you here are either writing a book or want to write a book. This book I almost wrote as a lead magnet to get you, not you, but readers to read these are my power books, meaning the books that come to the juice, right? And I am working on a few other kind of lead magnet books. And the algorithms and everything, and putting the books on sale every 90 days, you can put a book on sale for 99 cents. And of course, we're getting on a rotation where we're going to do that because we want everybody to read that, read all the books. But really, it's like Teresa said, one of the courses she's teaching, one of the things I'm teaching is trying to teach people how to live, eat, and work like the future matters. So this is more like a guide. It's only 50 pages. You guys could read it in a couple of hours and just getting the recipes. But then I'm going to be promoting in these books, where you can too, higher ticket items or things that you want to get people not just to pay the money, but higher ticket for their well-being to learn. So I'm going to be doing culinary classes in my kitchen that are virtual, where I actually teach you and we make it together and we laugh and we pair our sauerkrauts and our daikon ferments with our chili pepper ferments, all the different ferments. I mean, I teach how to ferment just about any vegetable. It's can't do it on a book. You have to like do it. So books, you write books for all different kinds of reasons, right? And then I have my journal too, which is really potent. But I don't want to talk about my books right now. I just want to make sure that it might be really good, Teresa. You had said you'd come on another time where we talk maybe on book through February, but we in March or April we bring you back on and we really talk about the art of writing. Give people a taste of what your course is and what you do, and give people, because I know, Karina, you got a book and you got a book and you, Robin, you got 10 books and you, same Meredith. Yeah. All of you. So that would be if you guys would like that, did anybody want to raise your hand? Anybody would like that? Because I would have her come back on. Anybody else want to have learn about writing books? Okay. I see 2 hands. S is definitely, you've got to write a book. So, you're coming back, Teresa, that there's no hands.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'd love to. Yeah, I actually do writers retreats down here too. So
writer retreat in Costa Rica. We should co-host one, and you could come here and we can do it in Hawaii too at our retreat.
Oh, that would be brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. I see, Karina, your hand is up, and I would love to have you come on. Are you still there? Are you your hand's been up for a while, so.
Yeah, I'm here.
Good. Do you have we'd love to hear from you, honey.
Hi, everybody. I just have been busily kind of working in the background, but
I love your backdrop. It's beautiful.
that's Santa Cruz. I live quite close to there, and so especially on days when I can't make it to the beach, I just I think about that favorite beach. It's beautiful, it's windy, and it's secluded. The only people I ever see out there are surfers. So anyway, I just wanted to echo a lot of what I had heard here from Teresa and others, that I think it's also critical that when we do commit to doing something like getting a book for 99 cents, and we know it's a deal and all those things, that we do commit to write a review. And it doesn't have to be long. That's the thing that I have seen specifically on Amazon. If you've bought it, they ultimately give you more credence if you're writing a review, right? And sometimes Amazon will take a few days to post those. And so keep an eye on it. And if for some reason it doesn't post up, you can always go back and take a peek and rewrite it. So I've seen that. I've been selling physical product on Amazon for a long time, and they do make mistakes. Things get lost. It just happens. The other piece I just wanted to share is that I feel, to add on to a lot of what Teresa has been sharing here, being a really good networker is important to your own influence too. So I'll give you one, for instance. I interviewed this gentleman, David Richman, about his book, Cycle of Lives, which was all about the journey that he took across the country from, I think it was from Seattle area down to Los Angeles, all the way to Florida, and then up to New York, like a ridiculously long travel, to connect with a bunch of people who had challenges with cancer and either survived it or had the family member who didn't, and then telling their stories on this long bicycle ride. We had such a good connection that he ended up making an introduction for me to his other friend, David, who has another podcast that I could then guest on called Super Age and talk about DHA for brain health. we developed a collaboration and a friendship. I now write for ageist.com and contribute content around omega-3s, health, anti-aging medicine, things along these lines. So it's adding credibility for me. And then through the course of time, I've been like, gosh, I really should introduce him to Dr. Maroon, who's an Ironman triathlete, and he's out there still in his 80s doing Ironmans, you know, like the full distance at Kona. And so he's got a really interesting story that could be told on Ageist. Make these connections, make these introductions. And now I have raised my credibility in both of their minds, and they're going to be thinking about how they can help me next time I have an ask. Because I do look at this as a true collaboration. Like, none of us is in this world alone, but we do often suffer from frequency and recency issues. If we haven't heard from somebody in a long time, if we haven't seen them come up in our feeds, if we haven't engaged with them or told them we're thinking about them, then sometimes you just kind of fade into the background. And it's not that you're not loved. It's not that people wouldn't want to help you. It's just that you haven't been present. And so there is kind of this give and take, push and pull that we're all a part of, and which I think social media is getting less good at doing. So
Right.
we need to make a personal effort. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
all I wanted to
Beautiful
share. And I
example
just
of what
thank
we
you
were
guys so
talking
much for this
about,
content
Karina.
today. Donna,
Yeah.
I'm glad I came. Thank you.
That was great. Oh, okay. I'm going to just step in here for 1 minute. Thank you so much, Karina, for bringing that. And there's so many good connections. I mean, I couldn't be happier of the people who are on this call today. It's becoming more like a networking session, which I think I'm going to go more towards this. I think this is great. Thank you, Teresa, for opening up the dialogue. And one of the things that, like I say, on the Facebook group, and go ahead, Meredith, put it in there again, anytime you guys are doing anything and or want to engage, we have I think Facebook groups are a little bit more effective than regular media and social media. And I really do feel like social media is not the wave of the future. I mean, where did Tumblr go? Where did MySpace go? This is 10 years of like the stock market going ballistic, where social media went ballistic. We got to think out of the box, and we're having a crash. And when you can get conscious leaders like who are on the call today, I mean, a Robin Richardson in the house, a Kat Haber in the house, a Stella Vera Kilcher, Teresa, your name, and Karina. I mean, we are powerhouses for change. This woman who is Sandra Ray, who's on the call, she's 83 years old and she is still kicking ass. And I love having the elders come on the show. And speaking about the show, next week, you guys, you definitely would love to meet this woman, Pua. She is an elder woman native to Hawaii, who is going to be talking about women empowerment and women in social movements and justice. She goes around. She's been to some of the most controversial. She's been the top of Mauna Kea. She's saving Mauna Kea Mountain, and not single-handedly, but it's how do you bring all the people together around these issues? How do you raise the money, which she was able to do, even in an NGO, around these issues? Those 3 pillars that Teresa was talking about are so important. And we're coming full circle to those 3 pillars. And Teresa, say the 3 pillars again, so I make sure they're in the right order.
Profit, influence, and impact.
So important. And right now we're trying to make a profit for TEL. So I want to do 2 things before we go, because the share screen is really important and really awesome. Teresa, do you mind going back to the Amazon page if you still have it up there? Because a lot of people don't know where to write a review, and show them where to write a review. And actually, Karina, if your stuff's on Amazon, I'll write a review for her blue green algae, man. It is so dope. I just took some before I started, and Robin, you were talking and asking about where I get my juice. Part of it is the product that she sells, which is this in powerhouse blue-green algae, which is, rather than eating fish oil and you're getting all these omegas, and you guys can go back and listen to her episode. If you can find that episode, Meredith, and put that up there, you can learn all about, that's part of my juicy story, is that stuff. So, and Teresa's going to show us right now, and I know people who are listening on Spotify can't necessarily see this, so you can find this on YouTube as well, and you'll all learn how to write a review and how to look at how, learn about how Amazon works. And
you know what? I apologize because I'm on Amazon.com, so it's not giving me the little icon to review this book because my main account's in Canada. But normally it's just a little icon that pops up here that says write a review right next to where it says.
It's usually at the bottom. And actually, can we look at can you go back where you just were? Yeah, it's usually at the bottom about the author.
Oh, here it is. Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad. They've changed it. Okay.
So you go down to the bottom and then you review.
So, because I'm on my US account and I'm, all my credit cards are in Canada. So Amazon does this to me where it won't let me write reviews on the American version of books, like, because it considers them a different book.
Mm-hmm.
But normally if you click that, you can click on and write the review.
Let's just scroll. Yeah, so you just scroll down to the bottom. And if you go to my main page, where all the books were, and I know some of you, the Donna Maltz page, some of you have read Living Like the Future Matters. I don't think you've written a review, or if you have read Conscious Cures and you haven't, but Living Like the Future Matters almost has 50 reviews. It has, and they're all pretty much 5 stars, and they're not all friends. They're, but the books that are really super, that's the journal. The other one is the book. Yeah, you're on, that one. Yeah. There is 39 reviews. So somebody can write the 40th review. That would be super cool. So
the other way to get to it is to just click on the review. And then this is the way I normally get to it here, and just click write a review there. So if you just click on where the stars are, see where it says 39 rankings, and you can get to write a review that way too.
Yeah.
It's not liking, I need to figure out with VPNs how to get on the US site, but it's not liking that the Canadian is trying to get into the American version.
But I think, it's amazing how many people I have met who just, didn't know how to do that, something so simple like that. And reviews, like Corina said, are really, really important. And now while we're on that topic, Corina does two podcasts. One is Care More, Be Better. And when you guys go to the homepage of my website, you'll see the interview was so potent with her. I leave it on the front of my website. And I also want to promote what she's doing, because she only interviews people who are putting social and environmental justice at the forefront of their endeavors. And Kat, you invite people to speak on TED who are just powerful influencers who are making social and environmental inroads into the world, and just innovation in general. And I'm so grateful to all of you. We've got two minutes, Teresa. We didn't get to all of our questions, but
let me just answer the question about the minimum requirements that's in the chat, if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Amazon will give you that error message for one of 2 reasons. Either it wants you to buy the book before you can do the review, and if you've got issues about buying books on Amazon, then just get it on Donna's website and don't worry about it. Just your purchase will not count toward her bestseller ranking. That's the distinction there. But it might also be giving you that because you bought the book in the wrong country. Like, so if I'm going to write a review for Donna, I have to do it on Amazon.ca because it won't allow me to do it in the States. It doesn't always do that, but sometimes it blocks you in that way. It wants you to go to your home country to write the reviews. So one of those 2 things might be happening, just so you're aware. So sorry, Donna, you wanted me to give my website. Is that right? I've got a free program I can shout out. Do you want me to do that?
I was just going to say, we have plenty of time to,
Okay.
Well, I think your website too, didn't you already put the website? You don't even have to do that. I'd rather you speak. Meredith,
Sure.
put your website on there, and I would love for you to talk, maybe share more about your programs, the EBC, how people, we're going to put how people can get a hold of you. And we will definitely personally message everybody who's on live and who's on the live stream when Teresa's coming back on to talk about how to write your books and all of that. So go for it, Teresa. You've got all the time in the world to just share whatever it is that you have to share right now.
Well, okay. So probably the thing that would serve you the most is I have a 30-day influence challenge. And when you do the 30-day influence challenge, they're just really quick little 2-minute exercises you do every day that help keep you in the mindset of how do I give influence today in order to gain my own influence? Like, so how do I grow influence? By always thinking, how do I really go to the wall for other people, right? So that's a 30-day program, complimentary, and we give you the digital version of my book complimentary right now because we're on the 7th anniversary of the book remaining on the bestseller list. So we're pretty excited about that. So we give you the links to all the different sites where you can get the digital version of the book for free. Amazon keeps bumping it back up. So if you notice Amazon's charging, I'd appreciate it if you let me know. We keep having to go through the process to get it set back down to free. So that's massinfluencethebook.com. If you want to do the 30-day influence challenge and get the digital version of Mass Influence complimentary. If you're interested in finding out more about the Evolutionary Business Council, our website is ebcouncil.com. Feel free to just reach out to me if you want to have a conversation on that. I'm happy to hop on a call and talk to you about it if you're inspired to find out more about that organization. We are a small but mighty group. And really, we're all about helping you connect with other thought leaders, how to be really intentional about how you grow your profit, be really intentional about how you grow your influence. And we do that through a combination of masterminding and training events. So we do a combination of the two. So we've got some really great events coming up. If you're interested in finding out more about that, just reach out to me via ebcouncil.com. In fact, for those of you who are on the line, I'm happy to just give you my email if you'd like to connect. I don't normally do that, but I just think you guys are such an awesome group. What the heck?
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah.
That's so great. Well, Teresa, you are a bright light, a star in my eyes, a twinkle, and I want to hear more. Just tell us just real quick, like this 30-day challenge that we just put the link in the chat.
Yes.
But I didn't know you also did this book coaching. What other programs do you offer?
You know what? I actually have a free program on writing your book in 7 days. I'm going to actually put the 30-day challenge link in there after my email. And I forgot to pull up the new link for that. So do you email the group afterwards? I'm just like, because I'm dyslexic, I wasn't thinking we would be promoting that link today. And I'm worried I'm going to give it wrong.
We're not even promoting, we're educating. And see,
educating. Yes, I know.
Letting everybody know how they get
talking about books today. So I'm like, oh, and so I didn't pull.
We were totally talking about books in March, you and me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this link that you're talking about, what did you say it was though called? What was
Well,
it?
I also have a free program that gives you an overview of how you would write a book in a week.
Yeah.
Because what I find with a lot of people is they really get stuck with writer's block, with making the whole process way too big. They just get overwhelmed with thinking about what's involved. They keep sabotaging themselves internally, and then they don't really know how to connect with higher consciousness and just channel the book out, right? So I actually have a short program that shows people how to really write the book from the space of higher consciousness and create a really solid structure, like a really solid book outline. So you're in essence just pouring the book into the outline. That's the best analogy I can give you. So I actually do live retreats down in Costa Rica on that, but I also have a short program that gives you the Cliff's Notes version of what that's involved.
Well, that's great. Well, we will make sure that goes. And actually, Teresa, you're in our Facebook group too. So you can just pop in and maybe just do a personal message to everybody, because that seems to work so much better. And then we'll make sure that we keep that link so that it's accessible to everybody. So everybody, does anybody have any last feedback or comments afterwards, I just wanted to say thank you so much to everybody who's on, and appreciate the shout out for the book and for everybody who just showing up today and supporting me in all the ways that you do. And the last thing I want to just leave with, besides my love and gratitude to you, Teresa, and we'll talk about scheduling in March, is to just have Meredith just put in the GoFundMe for Beautiful Tell, and know that it is so appreciated. No amount is too big or too small. And I'm giving away hour-long coachings and free nights at my vacation rental to people who donate any amount. You'll see it on there, from $5 to $1,000, just whatever you can. And I love, like, it's so important after these calls, like, we take action, right? And then to remind you guys that next week, same time, same place, Pua Case, this incredible Indigenous powerhouse woman, is going to be talking about the strength for women who stand for what they stand for. So I encourage you all to be here for that. I know you're going to love this call, and I want to thank you all for all the goosebumps that everybody gave me and all the shout out. Teresa, you are forever. That was just a huge honor and a surprise, and sometimes we have to just be gracious and receive, and I just want to let you know how much I appreciate every single one of you, and your feedback, your love, your comments. And thank you so much, Teresa, for bringing us all together about all this very beautiful, important stuff. So and we are going to go off live, and if anybody wants to stay on afterwards and see some beautiful flowers for about 5 minutes, or have continued dialogue, but all the people who are listening to the replay, come on to the show live. We love you. God bless, universe bless, whatever the bless, many, many blessings, and higher raise the vibe, the consciousness, and reach out and make the world a better place. Big love and aloha.